Hello, Year 10. Today I'm going to talk to you about making a portfolio using PowerPoint. And what we've done is we've created a template for you to use. Um, so this is your task for this week. And although we've created the template, we also want to show you a few techniques and hints and tips that you can use to make your PowerPoint a bit more your own, a bit more original, and just how to kind of work with what we've given you. So the purpose of this week's task is to present all the work you have done so far digitally. And we've spoken to you about how we want you to save all your work and keep hold of it because you're going to bring it into school, and you are still going to do this. But we've had a little think about it, and if we present your work as a digital portfolio, it's going to save us quite a lot of time. We could submit the digital file straight for assessment, and you'll have a sort of digital sketchbook. And what it'll really mean is it'll save us a lot of time in school, so we don't have to present your work again. You can do this over the next couple of weeks, create a really polished effect and a really polished outcome, and then that can be your sketchbook. So we're going to try this out. Also, just presenting a portfolio is a really good skill. If you carry on taking art, if you apply to college or sixth form or A level, or you can think about university, producing these sort of digital portfolios is really, really important. I had to do it when I was 19, 11 years ago, when I was applying for university courses, and I hadn't done it before, so it's a good kind of bit of practice. All your work that you have done so far this term, 7 tasks, which we're going to go through in a minute, should have been uploaded onto Teams, and they are in files on Teams. If you uploaded on Show My Homework, they'll have been put in a folder in Teams. So it should be really easy for you to find your work, the work that you've done, if you've submitted it. So this tutorial today is going to show you how to use PowerPoint and create a quality portfolio. Now, I don't know how much you know and how much you understand how PowerPoint works and some of the tricks. I'm a bit of a PowerPoint pro, and so I can help you out with that today. So it's going to be really important that you watch this video so you can find out what you can do. We're going to go through the basic template first. I'm just going to click through and show you what I've produced. Changing fonts, colours, adding shapes, etc. So changing things up, making it a bit more your own, adding in your own images. Adding in and arranging the images using the rulers and the guidelines that PowerPoint provides, so you can line things up really nicely. And adding video content. Now, some of you I know produce little videos of your jelly and ice and your different sculptures. You might have a video of the animation of you kind of digitally doing your drawing, and so you might want to add that to boost your grade. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. And then finally, saving it as a PDF. So once you're finished and you're happy with it and it's absolutely perfect, you can't add anything else, you can save it as a PDF and then we can use it. So I'm going to go through this with you today. So firstly, we are going to go through the basic template. I'm just going to click through what I have done so you can reuse this and appropriate it and edit it and make it your own. At the very least, you just need to add your images and do a bit of writing. That's it. Okay? So you may remember the first task that we did. We looked at digital illustration. And we looked at these artists, Eleanor Resco, Kiki Leung, Laura Callaghan. So there's not a massive text box, but what I've done is I've kind of created a colourful background with a white border. If we were to print it out, we could then stick it into your book really easily. So I've created pink background with yellow border, just using the shapes, and then I've put little shapes for you to add your analysis. So you can double click on the text, I'll show you this again, and then write something about each of these artists and their work. A little bit of description. That's all we want to do. You've not done artist analysis for a while, but you do know how to do it. Describe the artist's work, what you like about it, why it's interesting, how you've used it in your own work. So that will be page 1. And then page 2, you can insert a picture of your work. If you want to turn it to the side, so it's portrait, that's fine. It doesn't matter too much. however it fits best. And then you can insert annotation at the bottom. So you can write and explain about the connection between your work and the artist you studied, why you've done what you've done, what you learned from doing it. So that's your first double page. Digital illustration, a bit of analysis. You can change the images of the artist's work if you want. Absolutely fine. You can copy and put your own images in there. You can change fonts, you can change whatever. But if you don't want to do that, all you have to do is type up the analysis, stick in your digital drawing, and insert the annotation. Done. The second task was to create your fruit sculpture that was inspired by Etienne Chambaud and Sella. So you can see that I've inserted an image of his work there, and I've put here, insert analysis here. So on the left, in the middle, insert analysis here. So just a little bit of writing, describing his work, explaining his work, maybe do a bit of research into this artwork and find out about it, and a little bit of annotation. It's just an artist reference. It's not a full analysis page. You can then write a little bit of annotation, maybe explaining the link to what your work is and the work that you've done. I've then put a space, and hopefully you photographed your work really well, for you to insert a drawing, your free drawings, 1, 2, 3. You should have done free drawings for this task at the bottom. You'll know if you haven't done free drawings because you'll have a blank space. So there they go. Obviously, if you've done more, add in another slide and put your image there. So you were supposed to take at least 10 photographs. I know some of you didn't, but you were supposed to take 10 photographs. So what you can do then is delete that little bit of text, arrange your photographs on the page, and insert your annotation at the bottom. Advertising was task number 3. You'll remember we watched the Eat Like Andy advert, and we talked a little bit about advertising. You remember the one with the milk and the teeth that you liked, so you can change the image, choose one of those images, those advertising images that you particularly liked. I may have talked to you about certain artists, and you might want to put a reference to them in there. So insert your analysis, do a little bit of typing, describe the artwork, describe what you like about them, and then again, analysis there. The font size is big enough. Any bigger, you won't write enough, it'll look a bit silly. So the font and the font size for your analysis and your annotation is perfect. Don't make it bigger. If you have to make it smaller, fine, but if you make it bigger, you won't be writing enough. So I'll put in a couple of images. Of course, you can change them. Then delete that image, delete that text. You just double click on it, get rid of it. I'll show you how to do that in a second. And stick and copy and paste your designs and arrange them on the page. And then there's space for annotation at the bottom. I've made it so easy for you. You might even like the design. So next we've got drawing with food. This is a good moment for me to pause on this task. I know that many of you in my class and Miss Barrett's class found this task quite difficult and didn't necessarily get something that they were pleased with the outcome. So I've just got a few artworks that I wanted to reference here. This is an artwork by Colin Self, and it's spaghetti, cooked spaghetti, that he's laying out on a page. I think it's got a sauce on. And then he's peeled it off and taken it off. And the imprint that has been created creates this sort of abstract design. So I really like that effect that he's got there. In the middle, we've got an artwork by Martin Creed. And again, another artist who's used food to create a drawing. He's done a stamp. He's printed broccoli, painted it and printed it. Really good. Some of you may have seen the work, and I'll show you in the lesson, that Mr. Critchley's class did. And they used toast and just sort of printed into toast with a fork, white bread, just white bread. They pressed a fork or different shapes into the toast, put it in a toaster, and they got these marks. And this is an artwork by Anthony Gormley using toast to like imprint. We don't quite expect you to use that much bread, but one slice of bread, you know, make marks in it, put it in a toaster. So if you're not happy with the drawings of food that you've already done, Maybe look at these artists. You can then do a little bit of analysis and write about each artist and explain what they've done, how they've done it, do a little bit of research, describe it, and then on the next page, include images of your work. Now, you should have done 3 drawings. Using food, you might want to do a few more. I know I've talked to you a lot about this already. If you're in my class, just maybe redoing some of those drawings. So choose your best images. You don't have to do 2 blocks of annotation, but I think for this task, it's going to be, because it was so experimental, it's really important that you explain what you've done and how you've done it, how you made the paint, using food. So the annotation is going to be important here. So, pausing on this task, you might want to do some more experiments drawing with food, and these artists here might inspire you a little bit to do something a little bit different and just try something else out. Then stick your favourite images here. You've got a couple of weeks to do this, so if you wanted to revisit this task, you've got time to do it, and it might really be beneficial. Okay, next we've got the jelly and ice task, which is really, really fun, and this is one where a lot of you have got videos, so I'll talk to you about how to add videos in a minute. We first of all looked at Alex Frost, who is an artist who made that video of a sandwich plunging into water, and that was really gruesome and visceral and made us feel a bit weird. So you could write a little bit about their work here, just describing it, describing what they've done, maybe revisit their work online. And then Irving Penn, you're all familiar with. Just a little bit of analysis, an artist reference to his work and those kind of the casting of different objects to create these sculptures here and what they did. And so you'll remember we've looked at the majority of these artists already and described them, just a little bit of analysis. Then you can insert your photographs here. Now, you've got quite a lot of photographs for this task. So if you want to copy and paste this background and reuse it a few times, upload your videos, you can do that. You don't just have to have 1 page, you can of course make more. The next task was your culinary cross-section. We asked you to take photographs and then do a tonal observational drawing, and then a painting, or basically 3 little studies. So Beth Galton was the artist that we referenced, these culinary cross-sections, and you can write a little bit about her work at the top, insert some annotation on the bottom left, and on the bottom right, insert your photographs that you will have taken, inspired by her work. And then get rid of the text and put your 3 drawings on this page, ready to go. Finally, the takeaway task. So I talked to you about Nigel Henderson work and his photographs from the 1940s of these takeaways, of these restaurants, of these shops with all these signs out the front, little bit of analysis. Richard Estes, here he is. We talked about him, his photorealist paintings of shop fronts with all these reflections. And I asked you to take 3 photographs. So 1, 2, 3 photographs. Copy them, stick them in there. Job done. At the very least, all you need to do is literally just insert some information in these boxes. You don't need to do any more, unless of course you want to make it yours, not Miss Stewart's. Finally, insert your drawing. You should have done a nice big drawing for me of a takeaway and a little bit of annotation at the top. So that's the end of my portfolio. Obviously it's empty, it's a template, it doesn't have any work in it. You are going to fill it with your work. But